Hey guys, it's NunoTheDude, and today I wanted to talk about Dragon's Dogma. It seems like the consensus for this game is you either love it or you hate it. I personally really enjoyed it. And when the sequel got announced, I was kind of shocked, because I'm a big fan of Jack and Dexter, Sly Cooper, Dishonored, and I know that those games are not gonna get a sequel or a fucking reboot anytime soon. So to see a game like this actually get a fucking sequel, it's kind of wild. It's kind of crazy to think about, because I genuinely thought this game got banned to the Shadow Realm. But in any case, because of the sequel's announcement, I just kind of wanted to talk about this game. I guess my experiences, my review and whatnot, kind of like I did with the Devil May Cry video that everyone watched. So yeah, let's get into it. So my introduction to Dragon's Dogma was back in early 2020. My friend actually recommended the game to me, and yes, I do have friends. And I decided to look into the reviews and playthroughs in order to see if I enjoyed the game or not. But at the time, I kept hearing how bad the game was, how flawed it was, and people just told me the game was like good in certain aspects, but generally speaking, it was like a really bad game. So I just kind of decided to skip it. It was only much later when K-Bash made his video on Dragon's Dogma that I decided to try it, and honestly, I think people are maybe a bit too harsh on this game because I really enjoyed it. My first playthrough of this game was just magical. I really enjoyed it, though. I also have a lot of negatives to talk about in this game. So my main problem with this game was the open world, not the dungeons or caves or whatever. I want to make the distinction. Like, open world is a place you run to these places, right? The dungeons and caves are something you go from the open world to a loading screen and then inside a specific unique area. I don't consider that the open world, so my main problem is that, the open world, not the dungeons or caves. So my problem really lies in how the game handles the exploration inside of this open world, the traversal and the rewards you get from that. I got to the point where I asked myself if the game was trying to tell me to run or do sports or some fucking stupid shit, because there's so much running and walking, dude. It's so annoying. First of all, there's no way to get around fast. You have no way of getting a horse or a race car or fucking nothing. And your only means of traversal and going from point A to point B is walking, and it's kind of a pain in the ass. The game thinks that it's kind of a funny idea to run out of stamina in like 5 fucking seconds, and then it like takes 10 minutes just for the bar to slowly fill back up. It's a really frustrating and kind of annoying way of exploring, which, yeah, I guess it's not that big of a deal, but my point is it just kind of starts to be annoying after a while. So that's one of my biggest problems. Your only way of mitigating this issue is by going to the menu and spamming stamina items, which it's not good, because you're like going into a menu to pause the action or pause your exploration just to like spam fucking items, and that's really annoying, and that just kind of starts to add up after a while. You can also wait for the pawns to touch you in your no-no zone, and then have like 1/3 of your stamina bar refilled, which is fine, but still not like a fix. Or you can, as I said, wait for the bar to slowly back up. It was very annoying. I didn't really like it. It was just downright awful part of the open world. And not only that, because the enemy variety itself was also lacking. The enemies in this game aren't bad, right? There's decent variety, right? I think they're all well designed and really cool, although a bit bland, like generic fantasy stuff, but they're all very decently designed and they're extremely well polished, I would say. But my problem with the open world, once again, is how this game just kind of spams the same enemy type or boss over and over and over again. Okay, maybe it's not that bad, and it does get a bit better later on in the game, but my point is, sometimes I asked myself why I was even exploring like the places in the first place, if all I was seeing were like goblins, goblin variant, bandits, female bandits, wolves, worse boys, I fucking hate them, or the same Cyclops boss. Like, that's all you're gonna get in this game, just repeated enemies again and again and again. There's like almost no variety, which is kind of a shame, because the moments where a unique enemy or boss appeared in the open world while I was exploring was kind of fun and engaging. but I got kind of bored of exploring and fighting the same enemies again and again, and I don't know, I feel like I got really bored of them after a while. And after exploring all of the open world map, you know, I did that. It didn't really detract from my enjoyment, but it disappointed me a little bit, you know. Like, you know, disappointed like I disappoint my parents. Hey yo, right. Anyway, another problem of this open world is the rewards you get. This game has tons of chests for you to collect, but I found that most of the items you were getting was something that was either useless, like an item, or some piece of equipment that was rarely better than the one I was already using. With the exception of main quest exploration of the dungeons and caves, as I said, those are really good aspects of the game, but on the open world there's almost nothing worthwhile. Just random fucking useless items which I never really used, if I'm being completely honest. Another problem I have with this game are the side quests. I wasn't really fond of them either. The side quests in this game basically revolve around collecting 20 items, kill this enemy 20 times, kill the same boss 3 times, collect this 100 times, you know, just really generic, boring, repetitive stuff, dude, you know, which really detracts from this game's overall enjoyment, because I would have loved to see something like Witcher side quests, or especially Fallout New Vegas, where you see NPC and then there's this interesting lore about the world and place that you visit, but there's nothing like that, you know. There might be 1 or 2 I'm forgetting, but that's most of what you're going to get in the side quests. How would I say it? You know, just redundant, doing the same fucking thing. And there's also escort missions, because, you know, everyone likes them. I got to the point where I kind of dreaded playing this game, and had to take a break for like 2 days because of this side quest variety. There are some good ones, like exploring some dungeon or cave, which is mostly in the main side quests, or quests, whatever you call it, but overall it was very samey and repetitive, so I don't know. The side quests are also just a big yikes. Very disappointed. I wish it was like Witcher or Fallout New Vegas or whatever. The game is also way more reliant on your levels rather than your skill. Like, if you're good and you can dodge and block or whatever, then yeah, whatever. If you don't have the level, you're just gonna get annihilated in like one shot. Or if you find like a really high level enemy, it's gonna take forever to kill them because you just don't deal enough damage, which is understandable. This is an RPG, but I don't know, it's just I don't really like this whole aspect of you need to have a skill. You need to have a level that is the same as your enemy, or else you're just going to be shooting wet cardboard into their fucking balls or something. It was just awful. Also, the story was just bad. Honestly, it's not awful. There's traces of some really cool stuff when it comes to the story, and there are some genuinely good moments. Like, for example, I really enjoyed the Duke. The aspects of the church and those fucking cults, those were pretty good, you know, and they were all animated really well. But the lack of interesting characters or any sort of tension or consequences, like for example, when you get to that part with the Duke where you get imprisoned and then nothing happens, I don't know, it was kind of a shame. Like, the story has like no stakes, and most of the story just doesn't really matter. And combine that with bad characters that don't just do anything in the story, I don't know, it's kind of a shame. And I guess that's all I want to talk about when it comes to the negatives, if I'm being honest. I want to go and talk to the positives and just round this up. Alright, I'm getting kind of bored, and I know no one is going to watch this video. I'm only going to get like, what, 20 views? So fuck it, I'm gonna wrap this up. As I've already talked about, the exploration outside of the open world is fantastic. The caves, the catacombs, the Everfall, the Waterguard Altar, all of these places are just so fucking unique when it comes to their design and how they look, that, I don't know, that was generally, to me, the highlight. Just exploring those places, getting new gear that actually means something. I don't know, I really enjoyed it, you know, it was generally fun to explore those places. The gameplay as well, also fantastic. You know, the gameplay is good. The core mechanics and gameplay are just very, very solid. And for an old game, it just kind of surprises me, because there's so many things you can do that you can't in other games and RPGs. Like, for example, you have your usual melee, sword clashing, winky face combats. You know, you have your classes, which I'm not gonna get into, but offer a lot of, you know, like depth into your gameplay. Like you have your thief with daggers and bow, you have your warrior knights with fucking sword and shield, and all of these characters have their own unique abilities and a pretty decent roster of abilities you can use that just differentiate. Sorry, my English is bad. That differentiate your playstyle, and you can really do some really cool stuff with your gameplay. The melee combat is not only top notch and very fluid, and has like really solid core fundamentals, but this game also has some really cool mechanics as well. It's just really separate this game into something from a mortal to a fucking god game, okay? Like, for example, you can actually use your environment to your advantage. Like, for example, if you see an enemy that's like small or kind of same size as you, like a human or a goblin, you can just grab them and throw them off a cliff for an insta-kill. Same for a harpy or whatever other small enemy. You can also grab bombs, rocks, and other stuff on the environment to your advantage, which is just kind of surprising to see that. And not only that, but the ability to grab onto your enemy and just kind of scale them and climb them and then attack their weak spots. I don't know, that was surprising. I know, I really enjoyed that. I never played Shadow of the Colossus, but being able to like grab onto a griffin that's flying and then almost falling to your deaths, but then grabbing on and just jumping off at the last moment, that was just genuinely fucking amazing, dude. That is so fucking cool. I really like that. You can also like cut and destroy body parts so that they can't use their weapons, abilities, or in like flying enemy cases, their wings. You know, it's just really good. I really like that. Your pawns can also do this, so creating a party with smart people is just so much fun, because all of them will use their abilities and the core gameplay really shines like this. I think the combat as well is also fantastic. Like, for example, the pawn system really offers something really unique and charming to the game. You know, the ability to create your virtual girlfriend or boyfriend, if you're into that, is just really cool. You know, these pawns, for those who don't know, are essentially humans, kinda, that you can actually create in your image. Like, for example, you can make them into a lolly, which is like 90% of the player base. You can make them into an old man. You can just shape them however you want with this very detailed and really awesome like character customization. And yeah, like that's amazing, you know. And you can also like hire other people's pawns, and then with your pawn you can choose their classes. So in other words, you can create the perfect fantasy party. That's so much fun. And they can do all the things I just mentioned in the gameplay party. They can climb, they can grab onto the enemies in place, so you can then attack them much easier. You know, there's a lot of depth when it comes to the pawn system, and I really like the fact that you can get other people's NPCs or comrades and then just use them into your own world and then rate them in their aesthetic, combat effectiveness, and whatnot. I really like that. Not only that, but this game, as I said, the gameplay is fantastic. So you can also have different types of inclinations for your pawn, which essentially means that a pawn can pick up items if you're fighting, a pawn can focus on supporting you in battle, a pawn can focus on elemental weaknesses, and this inclination system essentially allows you to make your own custom partner. And I think these guys are pretty smart. I heard people say that they are dumb or whatever, which, yeah, they say a lot of dumb shit, which oh my god, the amount of funny shit these guys say is just good and downright dumb, but their combat effectiveness is pretty good. You know, I think this is the most smart NPC I've ever seen, so that's really cool. I like the fact you can actually do that. And not only that, but killing machine is something that really appeals to my core. You know, making your own imaginary friends is so much fun. And there's also some other minor stuff, like your RPG stuff is pretty solid, like leveling up is fun, finding items is a lot of fun, even though most of them are kind of useless in the open world. I really like the OST, which is just really cool. The monsters also have their really cool, unique animations and interactions with fire, electricity, whatever. And even the graphics and the art style is pretty decent, though the color is a bit muted. So yeah, I think that's all I want to talk about. I think with all of that said, yeah, I kind of ragged on this game, and the negatives part of the video was way longer than the positives, but I think this is a game that it's worth playing. Though I do admit, if you have no like patience, if you have no like self-control, then I think you're gonna really not like this game, because just with the open world, which is a big part of it, just kind of starts to burn you out with its stupid stamina, repeated enemies and bosses, and with the story just not really mattering, even though there's like a lot of cool stuff and moments in the story. So I don't know, I really enjoy this game and I do recommend it, but if you have no patience and if you are someone who really cares about story and the world and the lore, then I don't think you're going to see much here. So yeah, and I guess that's it. I think that's the end of the video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a like and subscribe. I know my Devil May Cry video was kind of bad, because I just kind of half-assed made the video, and you know, I know I can make better stuff, but I just choose not to because I don't think it's worth it, because I'm not gonna spend like 4 fucking hours making and editing a video if I'm on, you know, if I'm only going to get like 30 or 20 views. So for this one I did try much harder than the other ones, so please give it a like and I will suck your pee-pee, okay? So yeah, subscribe, like, comment, and yeah, take care.